Good morning, everyone, and welcome to class today. Let's start with a prayer together. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, friend, beloved God, great masters, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahirima Shaya, Swami Shri Yukteswarji, beloved Guru Deva Paramhansa Yogananda Ji, saints of all religions, we bow at thy feet. Help us to be ever more open and receptive to thy vibrations, thy blessings, thy grace, thy inspiration. We long to be ever more in attunement with thee and to serve thee as ever more perfect instruments for thy teachings, for thy love and joy. Bless us now and always. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. We'll have a song by Swami Kriyananda Ji, and then a brief excerpt from a video of Swamiji on this topic of humility in serving God. Welcome again, friends.
Lord, may we serve you all our days, ever rejoice to sing your praise, as we together your wisdom seek. Charge us with truth whene'er we speak. Lord, may we ever know your will. Come to us when our thoughts are still, as we your guidance with joy receive. May we as one your bliss achieve. As we your guidance with joy receive, may we as one your bliss achieve.
I would like to read from the book Conversations with Yogananda. The Columbia professor, to whom I referred last time, had a probing mind. Among many questions he asked, how do you distinguish between yourself and your followers? Now this answer that Yogananda Ji, my guru, gave is very interesting, because usually you think in the world that people who are bigger are taller, more important, more, you might say, ablaze in the world. He gives exactly the opposite explanation. All are waves on the same one ocean, the Master replied, composed, as ocean water is, of the same substance, spirit. Some of the waves are higher than others. Some waves don't even want to distance themselves from the ocean. All waves, no matter how high, are in essence one and the same. The difference between the guru and the disciples, then, lies only in their respective closeness to the ocean, in how conscious each one is of his essential reality. The greater the sense of ego, the taller the wave, and the greater in consequence the ignorance. The greater one's awareness of the ocean as one's sole reality, the smaller the wave, and also the less his sense of having a separate individuality.
I'd like to start with a very fun story from this book, Stories of Yogananda's Youth by Swamiji. This is brief. This is from the story, The Wave and the Ocean, as Swamiji was just speaking about. A holy man was not quite so holy as his disciples imagined. Instead of ignoring their flattery, he had at first been pleased by it, then in time had become to endorse their unseasoned view. Mukunda's Humble prostration before him pleased him further still. The holy man decided to improve on the good impression he was making. Tilting his head back, narrowing his eyes in an expression of world detachment and speaking in resonant tones, he declared grandly, "I am God." Mukunda sat upright, astonished. Boastfulness from a saint? He felt repelled. Indignantly, he exclaimed, "You don't say so." A surprised frown puckered the man's brow. Then he flushed. Anger at this young man's impertinence distorted his countenance. This was hardly the countenance of an avatar. Rising to his feet, Mukunda produced a small mirror from his pocket. Holding it up to the man's wrathful gaze, he said, "Look at that. Do you call that God? It's not the God I'm seeking." Turning on his heel, he strode from the room. For a moment, a stunned silence lingered behind him. Then, "Stop!" called the man. "Wait a minute." Running after Mukunda, the man bowed humbly before him. "I want to thank you," he cried, with childlike love in his eyes. "You have awakened me from a great delusion. How can I express my gratitude?" What a beautiful story, and how important it is not to think that we are the person instead of God. God is serving through us. God, we are a channel, we are an instrument if we're a good one. Master never said that he was even the guru. He said, "They're not even my disciples, they're God's disciples." And when people would touch his feet or praise him, he would put his hand here at the point between the eyebrows and say, "I give all your devotion, I give it to God." And he said, "I killed Yogananda long ago. No one dwells in this temple now but God." But people think, "Oh, I'm a teacher, I'm the yoga teacher, I'm the meditation teacher. People need to touch my feet, people need to praise me. I'm important, I'm special." These are all delusions. And even with Swamiji, that he said, "I don't teach anybody anything. I'm not a teacher, but I love to share." What a wonderful consciousness to have, so uplifted. "I love to share." And when people would touch Swamiji's feet, he would say that, "I feel they're blessing me." And so it was never turned toward him. And I remember a time when Swamiji was at a large gathering that we had. He was talking so wonderfully about a particular person, and this person does this and they do that and they do this and he was praising them on. And then everybody in the audience knew the person. They went, "Oh my God, he must be going through a hard time, because Swamiji never praised anybody." I remember one time he said to me after a large gathering that our team had put together, Kriyaban retreat, he came up to me and says, "Oh, Dhyana, you work so hard on this program." I said, "Swamiji, please don't say that." I said, "Please don't say that. You gave all the classes, you did everything." And he would test you to see how far you were going to go with that. "Yes, I did all that. Yes, I produced all this. Yes, I did the program. Yes, I gave a good talk. Yes, I'm this and that." And it's just an ego that's come from a past life or many past lives. And you can't go into the consciousness of God with that feeling, the I am feeling. And so what is humility? Humility is a dynamic letting go, letting the floodgates open up so that God's energy can flow. You can get rid of the thought of the self. You can feel the inspiration, and you can feel the upliftment. You can feel God's power flowing through you instead of your own little ego. And how do you do that? Well, Master one time, first thing you have to think is always think God is the doer. God is the doer, no matter what you think you've done. I mean, I saw Swamiji do so many things, write all the music, write all these books, lecturing all the time. So many people coming to him, but I never, and I mean, I never saw the ego principle. It was always, Master did it through me. Master's writing this book. Master gave me the music. Master, when he would give talks, we would thank him and say, Swamiji was a wonderful talk. God is the doer. Master spoke. You know, it's just so wonderful to free yourself. You have to free yourself from that. And you see that coming. You see people adoring you and, oh, you're so wonderful. I mean, it's just a delusion. Cut yourself from that. And with Master, he just didn't allow it. He would remember the time he was on the ship coming from India to America. And they asked him, he always knew it was God. People asked him to give a talk on the ship, and he didn't know English very well. He hadn't lectured very much, and but he said, okay. And he showed up for the lecture, and for the first couple of minutes, I believe it was, no words came. And somebody still stood there, and people started laughing at him because they figured he didn't know English and he couldn't speak. And then he just kept inwardly praying to his guru to flow through him, to speak through him. And he could hear Swami Shri Yukteswarji's words, you can speak. That was the power of God coming through Master. We have to open ourselves to that. And same with Swamiji. You probably remember the story from the past when Master asked Swamiji to go and speak on his behalf. And Swamiji said, I've never given a lecture in my life. And the monk who came, he said, well, I don't know, Master wants you to go. He can't go himself. And here's the bus money. And so then Swamiji, but I love the point of it. Swamiji said yes. He didn't say, no, who am I? And, you know, inferiority and superiority, they're both ego. The Swamiji didn't say, who am I to go? He said, okay, if he feels I should go, I'm going to go. And the monk said, and by the way, also wants you to give a Kriya initiation. Swamiji said, wow, I've only had one Kriya of my own. He said, well, I don't know, but you have to go. And he went and he did both of those assignments that his guru gave him. Now, how did that happen? Master worked through him. I mean, I think from then on, Master had him editing. He had him in charge of the monks. He had him in charge of the centers. He gave many of the talks. He traveled around the world teaching. Why? Because God was able to flow through him. He wasn't his own block. So what does that mean for us? The first thing, it means we have to realize that we can only do what God allows us to do, but we can be channels for the divine. So inwardly ask, Master, what would you like me to do? How would you like me to do the class? Bless the class. Bless the people who come to the class. Bless me that I have your thoughts and your inspiration and your insights and your joy and your enthusiasm. And always connect yourself with the guru instead of, no, I've got my teaching certificate now and I'm a teacher and now I know everything. Well, you don't know everything. And that's the thing we have to remember, that if God took our breath away, our thoughts away, our mind away, our energy, we wouldn't have anything. So always remember and think in your mind, whatever you're doing, whatever it is, that Divine Mother, I know it's you. I know it's your words. I know it's your thoughts. I know you're in my heart. And always keep that in mind. And secondly, be a joyful, willing disciple. Not, oh God, another class. I just don't want to do it. Sometimes that comes in your mind, but then you have to shift that thought. And there was a nun who Master would give things to do to, and she was just always thinking she was doing too much. So Master went to her and he says, you know, you're working too hard. You just can't work so hard. She says, okay, Master, I won't work so hard. And then he gave her more work. And then he said, he came again. He said, but you're still working too hard. Please don't work so hard. And he gave her more work. And this went on for several times. And because she was so much into, I have to do it and it's my will. And yes, we have to use our own, but God-given will and willpower. I will reason, I will, I will act, but guide thou. You be the reason, you be the energy, you be the enthusiasm. And as you open up like that, so much can happen, so many more ideas, so much more inspiration. I see people who are so blocked. You say, well, do you have any ideas? Gee, I don't know. That's not an answer. That never was an answer with Swamiji. Was think, come up with something, more. And so this woman, finally, she got the picture. And Master said, she said, can we change that word work to service? And he said, you finally got it. You've been thinking all your life, work. If you think of serving God, you're never tired. You always have ideas. You always are enthusiastic. You always have inspiration. You always have insight. That so much is coming through you. So we're talking about breaking down the barrier of the ego. Now, you can't do it overnight, but every time that you do something, say, Master, I want to do it for you. I want to have your energy. I want to touch people's hearts. And the I is small. It's a small I. It's not I want to. It's a small I that let me do it for you. Let me sing for you. Let me play the instrument for you. Let me go and greet people. Let me give the lecture for you, whatever it is. And do it joyfully. Do it with your heart. Do it with everything you've got. I remember so much time with Swamiji where he was the most creative, dynamic, enthusiastic, open, receptive person I ever met. And he turned everything to God and Guru. And that's why he was able to do so much, because he just kept saying, Master, what do you want? What book should I write? What kind of music do you want? How should I do this lecture? What do you want me to say? And I think people just forget about God. They get up there and start mumbling and jumbling, and because God is nowhere. And so for sure, keep in your mind that the most important thing of serving with humility is just putting yourself aside. Surely do your studies, do whatever you have to prepare, but then really open yourself to the divine power and watch the reduction of your ego. It's less and less and less, and God is more and more and more. And when that happens, there's so much joy, there's so much light, there's so much inspiration. I mean, I remember Swamiji used to say it felt like he was sitting on a volcano. There were so many ideas all the time coming from God because he was such an open channel. Let's try to be that open channel. Move from the I did it to God did it. And God can do anything through any of us if we open ourselves. And I'll finish with this quote on humility from one of Swamiji's books, Affirmations for Self-Healing. Humility is not self-deprecation. It is self-forgetfulness. It is knowing that God alone is the doer. Never wear the mask of false humility. Humility is self-acceptance and self-honesty. You have a right to all power if you seek it in infinity, and you never hold the thought that it resides in your little self. Om Shanti Shanti. God bless you all. I'll ask Nitendra, please join on the screen now.
Thank you so much, Dhanaji.
Did you like that story, Nitendra?
Absolutely, Dhanaji.
I forgot one thing I wanted to say in regards to that story is that there was a minister, a preacher in Los Angeles. I believe he was in, he was in Los Angeles. And he was Father Divine. And on the back of his chair that he sat in at the Sunday services, it had God. Like he was God. And he tried to hook up with Master. Master said, no, thank you. He was just on the wrong track. But anyway, wonderful stories about from this book. I'll show it again. Stories of Yogananda Ji's Youth. A beautiful book. Okay, Nitendra, you have some questions?
Yes, Dhanaji. The first one is when we are serving, how do mundane things such as bringing prasad or setting up the altar, how do they help us in our spiritual progress?
What's wrong with bringing prasad and flowers? It's an offering to God. Krishna said even a leaf, anything offered to God is blessed. So yes, how does that change you? Because you're getting out of the self. It's not my prasad, my flowers. And I hope people give it in that spirit. You know, don't say, oh, I made this dish, it's from me. And I hope you like it because I made it. I mean, that's not an offering to God. When you cook it, when you make it, feel like Divine Mother's love is coming into it. I've been having some wonderful food here in Pune from one of the devotees, Lakshmi, and I just honestly feel she's like Divine Mother. I mean, so much sweetness in the food. And I know she's thinking about God. So as you're preparing, think of God. As you make whatever it is, as you get the flowers, think of God. And it's not, give me the flower. I'll get 2 bunches. Okay, here's the flowers. That's not right. Everything should be an offering from the heart. And if you made something wonderful, you made a cake or you made some cookies or whatever, give it. I remember in the early days, I didn't understand this so much because I was new at Ananda and didn't know much about India. But when we had our meals at Ananda village, we always had, and this was from Swamiji, we always had a image of Krishna, a murti, and we had a little plate with food for Krishna. And you would go there, pranam, you know, and take blessings. It wasn't just go start eating. You know, and of course, there's a prayer before food as well, but think about God when you're making things to bring for the center. It's not just, let's hurry up, it's time to go here. Here's my dish. And when you offer it, offer that. And I've had some delicious food in Gurgaon as well. So anyway, the thing is, all that you offer to God first. When you meditate, offer the meditation to God first. No, oh God, what time is it? I got 10 more minutes. No, just think, okay, Divine Mother, I'm sitting here with you. Whatever you're doing, just always think, if you can't always do it, we're trying. I mean, at least you're heading in the right direction. I'm trying to always include God in my life. And as you do, there's less of you and there's more of God. It's pretty simple. As you don't, there's more of you and less of God. So everything you do, just always try to think of Divine Mother. And here's another thing. I thought of this morning. Don't look in the mirror so much. I mean, it may sound kind of crazy, but I think people are, I mean, my master had that little mirror and showed the guy, but always looking in the mirror, you know, how do I look? And that's all about ego. And, but there was one scene, one Swamiji told us about one person. We don't know who it was. He didn't share. He didn't had the right to share this, but he said that one person, when they're new on the path, new disciple, they looked in the mirror and they saw Master's face. Now, if you're saying Master's face in the mirror, keep looking. But if you keep saying your own face, maybe look less in the mirror. That might help you a lot. Okay, then?
Dhanaji, we have a live question. How can we evaluate if we are improving in humility?
Look around you. Look at the people, how they view you, how they think about you. That's one way. That's one thing. It's just look at how the others are around you. Secondly, there's a feeling in the heart when you're going wrong. It's Master's, you can feel he's not pleased. You've given a class and it was all about you, and you can feel it. that wasn't right. I remember Swamiji stopped in the middle of a lecture and said, I don't feel my guru's pleased. And he went on another track. So your classes, the way people respond around you, do you have more energy, more enthusiasm, more joy, or do you feel blocked? That's a good way. If you're feeling blocked, like, oh, I don't have any ideas, and you get up to do the class and you're mumbling, there's something wrong there. So that's a good sign. Is there more energy? Are there more ideas? Is there more inspiration? Yeah, those are a few. Are you more uplifted? Do you feel happier? Do you feel less important? Do you feel like, how come they didn't bring me any water? And where's my pillow? And where's my chair? And where's where they're not bringing me anything? I'm important. How come they didn't bring me any? Where's my food? And where you didn't bring my food? And I've seen this. That's why I can do it so well. It's just not good. So why not? I would say shift that and get up and you serve somebody else. Go get somebody else a glass of water. I remember there was a story Swamiji told us of, there was, maybe it's in the New Path, one monk, he kept, I guess he was elder to Swamiji, so he kept saying at some talk, Walter, master needs a glass of water, go get a glass of water. Master needs this, go get it. Master needs this, go get it. And Swamiji said he was so happy to go get anything for master, it didn't bother him. But for the other monk, it was like he was a superior, so you do what I tell you. So, watch yourself. When that comes out, you got to straighten it out. And I have found that with myself and friends, that Divine Mother will straighten you out if you don't straighten yourself out. If you really want to grow, she'll set up situations where it's most embarrassing. And you have to change. So better to try to change yourself. I told that story last week, I think, about Bernard with the turban, and Master put it on him. All the women thought he looked kind of handsome, and Master straightened him out. He put that turban on one of the programs, and it kept falling off and over his eye, and most embarrassing. So better to work on yourself before Divine Mother has to do it for you. Okay, other questions?
Yes, Dhyanaji, we have two more. The first one is, should we serve basis the skills that we have, or should we be open to learning new skills based on what is needed to serve?
Oh my God, you got to be open. You can't just say, this is who I am, and that's who I am. That's a block. And who are you anyway? I was listening to a talk the other day. Who are you? Swamiji said. People think, oh, I'm this, I'm a woman, I'm a man, I'm Black, I'm Indian, I'm American, I'm this. And it's all delusion. And the skills, I'm a professor, I'm this, I'm a teacher, or I'm a housewife. What does it matter? It should always be fluid. There's more things. And I love this mantra in my own mind, master what you want, I want. Whatever he wants. It's just not like, I only do this. I only teach. I will never set up any chairs. And I heard that from people. They don't ask me to do anything else but teach the class. You're wrong. So what can you do? You have to just start doing everything. When we first came to India, all of us, Shankar, Jayaji, Haridas, various ones of us would go out and do the classes around India, but all the major cities, but we did everything because we didn't know anybody. Set up the chairs, clean the hall, set up the altar, set up the book table, do the registration, get up there, give the talk, then pack up the books and put the books in the truck, then get up, go back home, next time. How do we do it? So much joy. We were so happy to be serving in India. Nobody helped us. We said, would you come help? No, we'll send the servants. No one came. Now everybody came. So I think there needed to be some examples that do anything for your guru. And I remember an elderly man said to me after a class, now, Dhyanaji, I know you're not going to pack those books and put them in the truck. I said, just watch me. I loved it. And what happened? He started helping. he started helping too. And he was happier when he started helping. So start helping. Don't put, I don't do this, I don't do that. You just, if you get in the vibe of it, jump in and start swimming. There's so much more joy than what you think there is if you really give your life to God. Okay, then?
Ranji, we have another live question.
Okay.
We always think that God is the doer, but when we are not doing the right thing, or maybe when we are losing the temper, that time, how do we say that God is the doer?
Well, you can say, Divine Mother, I know you're still the doer. I'm not a perfect channel. I tried my best. I'm not a perfect instrument. Can you help me? Give everything to God. You can't hide anyway. You can't hide what you thought. You can't hide what you did. You can't hide what you said. So still, anyway, say, I know it's only God, period. But I'm trying to be a channel for you. There's channels of darkness. We know that. And there's you, we're trying to be channels of light. And so whatever happens, if you get upset, who's perfect until they find God completely? Nobody's claiming to be perfect, but at least we're heading in the right direction. At least we know there'll be some bumps along the way, but still we're heading up. So don't go into either direction. I'm a bad person. Master said the worst sin is to call yourself a sinner. So still affirm it, even if you fall flat on your face, get up, keep moving. You don't let people say you fell, you'll never get back up. Well, who are they to tell you? Get up and keep going. Do your best and give everything to God and say, Master, I want to improve. You have to help me improve. I'll do my 25% best the way I can. I know you're helping me. I know God's grace is there. Someone asked a similar question the other night in Pune, and surely you have to work on yourself, but don't give up and don't become hopeless and, oh God, I'll never make it. Well, you won't. You've already said it in your own mind. So do it. Do the best you can. Give everything to God. And Divine Mother, well, she'll help you. I've never seen her not. I mean, maybe she doesn't, but never with me. I've seen I've let myself down, but I just got back and kept working, kept going. So don't think that's all in the mind. Just keep moving, keep doing the practices, keep doing Kriya, keep serving, keep being joyful, and it gets better and better all along the way. You have one more question, Atindra?
I do, Dhyananji. Time is up, but let me quickly ask that. Does everyone get to serve the gurus, or is it a blessing that only a few receive?
If I were you, I'd find a way to serve, even if nobody's asked you, because it's such a great blessing. It's a privilege. Your life has changed. Your whole family, your situation, your finances, your health, everything gets changed once you get in the wave and the energy of the gurus, of Babaji, of Lahiri Mahashayaji. And by the way, Swamiji told us clearly, this work in India, he said, is Babaji and Master's work. It's not mine or yours. We tune into them. We do what they want. And so if we can keep ourselves open to them and to God's flow of God's grace and God's blessings in our lives, we can do a whole lot more. I've since forgot the question, but maybe I answered it. What else did you ask, Natindra? Was that it?
I mean, does everyone get to serve the guru?
Definitely, but you have to want to. You have to be willing. I think Master will take that privilege away if you don't honor it. That would be scary. What would our lives be if we didn't have these centers, places to serve, things to do? Some places you go to, they don't let you do anything. Just sit down and listen to the lecture. Well, that's one way, I guess. But as soon as you showed up at Ananda, Swamiji gave you something to do. And every time I'd go to him, Swamiji, I just have a problem. Please help me. Here, do this. I go back, Swamiji, I got another problem. Here, do this. My whole life, he gave me things to do, and that's how I grew. So I would say, yes, you are able to ask the center people, ask online, ask home study. What can I do to serve? And if you're Kriyaban and you're not serving, how do you think Kriya is going to work? Master said service and meditation help each other. Meditation helps your seva, seva helps your meditation. So you can't just think you're going to just meditate beautifully until you find God. It just doesn't work. Finally, I'll say our examples, our master, who served all the way through his life, and Swamiji, who did the same. So if we think we can sit back with our feet up on the table and say, everything's done for me, I don't need to serve, good luck to you, is what I would say. So jump in, ask for things to do, and finally, thank God that Master's allowing you to serve in any capacity that there is, instead of, oh, they're asking me to do more. Just think, what a privilege to serve an avatar's work. Wow, to help set up an avatar's work in India, the land of Master's birth. He's allowing me to serve. What a great blessing. I open myself completely to whatever he wants, however I can serve. God bless you all. Thank you, Natindra. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye-bye.